Hey everybody, welcome to episode 170 of Is This Thing Working? Here we are in the middle of the week on a Wednesday. How you doing, Denise?
Oh, I'm doing well today. I am doing well on this wacky wet Wednesday.
Yep.
It's done nothing but rain in East Texas all week from Monday to now.
Yeah.
You know, so do you have the blues yet?
It's much needed rain.
It is.
And at least it's not raining sideways and hurricane force winds. So I'm thankful.
I know. I got used to getting out in the pool every single day after we do the show. And I haven't been out in the pool in at least 3 days. So I'm kind of, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to get out there.
Hey, I get it.
But we have a lot to go through today. As you can tell, our shows have getting longer and longer and longer because the news cycle just won't stop.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's propaganda. And a lot of it, people are out there saying, hey, we need answers. And we need answers now. Social media is going crazy about this attempted assassination on President Trump. And yesterday, up on Capitol Hill, Representative Eli Crane, he had a lot of questions for Colonel Paris during the Department of Homeland Security hearing yesterday. Listen to this.
I'm just going to say it. Are you aware, sir, that many Americans believe this was very likely not a lone shooter, but a coordinated assassination attempt? Have you been getting those messages from people like I have?
I have not, sir.
You haven't? Well, there's a lot of people in this room that have been getting the same messages. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that a lot of Americans are like, this doesn't add up, this doesn't make sense, guys? How could this many things have gone wrong? Right, like the things I pointed out, a 20-year-old kid, got 150 yards of the President of the United States with an AR-15, flew a drone to conduct site surveillance, was spotted with a rangefinder ranging targets, then lost, had advanced explosive devices on him with no military training. Nobody was placed in the most obvious spot to conduct counter-sniper operations. I was a sniper in the SEAL teams, Colonel. As soon as I got out of the SUV and I saw that that water tower, I was like, that's exactly where I'd be. Put me right there. So obvious. After partisan attempts to bankrupt him, imprison him for 750 years, and countless depictions as a modern-day Hitler, are you surprised, sir, that a lot of Americans are like, maybe there's more to this story?
I wouldn't begin to speculate about what the American people think, sir.
Colonel, did your team make entry and conduct investigation at the suspect's home prior to this shooting?
Excuse me, sir? I've asked that question.
Did your team make entry and conduct any investigation at the suspect's home?
I believe we had people that participated in that securing of it. There were bomb assets that we provided.
Mr. Chairman, can I have 30 more seconds?
Yeah, I'm letting everybody come.
Okay.
On the night of. Since then, none.
Did you get any reports from any of your agents of anything fishy at the home?
I was briefed on.
Was there any silverware found in the home or trash?
I have nothing in the briefing that I was given, sir.
Was it extremely clean, almost like a medical lab? Were you given any of those reports?
I wasn't giving any of those details, sir.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing. Interesting.
Hey, he grilled him pretty hard, and Eli Crane is correct. There's so many questions that we ain't got answers for yet. And one of the biggest things that everybody is asking, were you people involved? And it was interesting when he asked for the last 30 seconds. You know, up until then, he's asking questions that we've been asking about. But at the very end, that was interesting to ask about the home and when they went to the home and the conditions of the home and what they found when they were in there. And what's the easiest way to tell when a person is lying to you? What's the easiest way to tell? You look them where? Dead in their eyes, right?
Yes.
That joker was blinking.
Oh, my
He was
gosh.
blinking. His eyes were averting everywhere across the room.
He was lying.
Yeah.
You could tell he was lying.
You could tell it.
You know, that the person that made the video brought his face really close to the camera so you could see every detail.
Yeah.
Just so finely.
Yeah.
You know?
It gave you a chance to look at him dead in his face and watch him answer. And me, it would have been real hard to have not went, Sir, you're lying, man. You're a liar. You're lying to me right now.
I know. And I don't understand why they don't call them out on that stuff.
Me neither.
You know, they never do.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Credit Ultra MAGA Party for that video there. And so, as we said, hello, welcome to our show. We want to state that these are our opinions and our assertions. And if you agree with us, tell your friends and share the show.
And if you don't agree with us, please tell your friends and share the show. Also, stomp that like button and follow or subscribe wherever you see the name. Is this thing working? And also, we are on podcasts. You can download the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, for example, Apple or Spotify.
And don't forget to download that Rumble app so you can follow the show each and every day, and you'll receive instant notifications when we go live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Make sure you support our sponsors. They do help us keep the show free.
We would like to welcome our new sponsor to Is This Thing Working? So help us welcome Cornbread Hemp. Their mission is to draw on Kentucky's 250-year legacy of growing hemp, as well as the state's unique climate and soil, to manufacture the highest quality cannabis products available in America. They proudly offer full-spectrum, USDA organic CBD products with up to 2 milligrams of THC per serving. Their plants are grown in what's known as the Bluegrass Basin, which produces the highest quality hemp alongside the best bourbon and fastest racehorses. Cornbread Hemp is one of the very few, if not only, CBD brands in America who exclusively use the hemp flower to create their CBD extract, called Flower Only CBD, and they want the world to know. In a side-by-side comparison to a market leader, Cornbread Hemp checks all the boxes. They are USDA certified organic, flower only extracted, full spectrum, free of artificial colors and preservatives, and they are third-party lab tested.
Please check out Cornbread Hemp by going to cornbreadhemp.com right now for a 30% off your initial purchase of any products on the website. Again, go to cornbreadhemp.com and use promo code ITTW for this special offer. Remember, you get 30% off, promo code ITTW. So we have a lot of call of action today. We're going to start with Bannon. It's Steve Bannon. Has 101 days left of being a political prisoner of the elite, of course. You know, they won't do anything to let him out. We need him really bad, but since we don't have him, we still follow the War Room and everything that the War Room says. We are asking you. There are so many call of actions right now. We are asking you to step up today, to be informed and become engaged. You can do this. There have been several calls to action, and this is our task and purpose today. First one is yesterday on War Room Battleground. Natalie Winters called for action. Listen to her in this video on War Room yesterday.
You guys know the marching orders from Stephen K. Bannon and the War Room posse in the War Room here. We are going to toxify, get used to that word, toxify the process of Kamala Harris wanting to become the nominee. We are going to make her and all of Joe Biden's closest advisors own the fact that they perpetrated and are continuing to carry out a national security threat against the American people by propping up someone like Joe Biden. Don't even know if he's alive, let alone cognizant or capable of making decisions. If any of our sworn allies, also known as Biden's business partners, were to attack us, who would be the one that would be answering the phone call and making the decisions? You wouldn't know, just like apparently you wouldn't know when it comes to the Secret Service. Of course, Kimberly Cheadle stepping down today. But I think we need to make two things very clear. One, Joe Biden didn't step down because his health suddenly got worse randomly and at midnight. You know, that's not why he stepped down. He stepped down because the American people found out in that debate. And frankly, the timing of this whole catastrophe is made a heck of a lot more suspicious when he steps down not too long after President Trump. There's an attempted assassination on his life, and you see these lawfare cases being dropped. And I also think that it is very important we will draw a line in the sand here. You guys know Stephen K. Bannon would be doing that too. Just because you step down, whether it's Cheadle deciding to resign several days too late, or Joe Biden deciding not to seek re-election, or at least his advisors, that does not mean that you are immune from accountability. We will pursue, whether it's impeachment or even after Donald Trump is back in the White House, all of the evidence that Congress has gathered that we would have used to pursue impeachment charges, we will find accountability. And that is something that you guys know the War Room Posse is going to be pressing hard on. And like I said, we are drawing a line in the sand on that. Just because you resign doesn't mean, what's the word that the Atlantic pushed with the pandemic? Amnesty. No amnesty for immigration, but certainly no amnesty for our elites who have gotten us in this position.
And as you heard from Natalie, she asked you to toxify Kamala Harris to make sure everybody out there knows exactly who and what the Democrat Party just anointed. Who and what.
Exactly. It's going to be an easy task and purpose for us if you approach it that way, because to toxify Kamala Harris and her record on everything that she supposedly is going to campaign on, each and everything that she does is not going to be that hard. All you got to do is do your research, be informed, become engaged, man.
And
you see
spread the word.
You see her
That's
out here.
all we're asking.
That's right. You see her out here spouting her BS. You've already done your research. You know what she's already said. Bring it out. Make sure that everybody knows
That she was a border czar.
exactly.
Don't forget that she was a border czar. And the second one, call to action that we're going to talk about right now, is we need you to call your representatives who, by the way, are leaving tomorrow. They're leaving Congress because obviously they can't get any work done. But we really need them to add the SAVE Act into the spending bill. This is from Senator Mike Lee. He posted this yesterday. The SAVE Act is the only way we have a chance to even win this election right here. The SAVE Act is so important. And they passed it in the House already, but the Senate didn't pass it.
So it goes back to the House, and now they're wanting to go ahead and go home tomorrow. That can't stand. People, stay in D.C. and do your job.
Yes. And until we can get this passed, Senator Lee is also asking you to pass out the flyers that say, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, it is illegal for you to vote. And then it goes on to say, you will be convicted of a felony and deported. These are on social media. They're being spread out everywhere. They're in Spanish and they're in English.
Yep.
And they're from Only Citizens Vote. That's a PAC. And everyone needs to spread this far and wide.
Yep. You can find these flyers there. Put them out, man. Like you say, far and wide.
They're all over social media right now. You can find them on all of our social media accounts. But to all U.S. citizens, we need this SAVE Act. So we need your help. We need your help to spread the word. We appreciate everything that you do here on Is This Thing Working? We appreciate you so much. And the third one, call to action, is, like we said, the representatives are going home, but we have another act that they need to do for us. The representatives that are trying to go home before they leave, you need to remind them they have a lot of work to do, and to stay and do your job and vote to condemn the illegitimate January 6th committee so we can bring Steve Bannon home. That's what we need you to do.
And so to do that, call your Congress to vote to condemn the J6 committee as being illegitimate. Call the House. Their number is 202-225-3121. The Senate. Call the Senate. Their number is 202-224-3121. Write these down, folks. The House, 202-225-3121. And the Senate, 202-224-3121. Tell them, stay there, do your jobs, don't go home. Moving forward, let's move into Trump Watch.
I will tell you this.
Okay.
President Trump is the hardest working man I have ever known. He got attempted assassinated. He was immediately at the RNC. He had a rally that weekend. And now, guess what? Today, he has a rally in North Carolina.
Yeah, the rally is today at 6 p.m. Eastern. The doors are going to open at 2 p.m. It's at the Bojangles Coliseum at 2700 East Independence Boulevard in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you're in Charlotte, you're anywhere near, get you a ticket and go.
Yes, and we got our information from the events at donaldjtrump.com events, and you can find all his upcoming events on that website right there, and it will help you out so you'll know where he's going to be and when he's going to be.
talking about how busy he is. Not only did he go through what he did last weekend, went to the RNC and attended all 4 nights, had a rally at Grand Rapids. After that, met with Jesse Waters and had a great interview. Him and J.D. Vance met with Jesse Waters and had a great interview. Jesse asked him about the border. So Waters asked him, what about the strikes against the cartels? Are they still on the table? Here's what President Trump had to say about this.
Are strikes against the cartels still on the table?
Absolutely.
Even against our biggest trading partner?
Absolutely. Mexico's going to have to straighten it out really fast, or the answer is absolutely. They're killing 300,000 people a year with fentanyl coming in. And China, by the way, will do what they have to do. They're going to do it just like I had to deal with President Xi, but then Biden never took it over. They were going to give the death penalty to anybody sending fentanyl our way. And that was part of my negotiation. They never did it because nobody forced it on our side. Mm-hmm. You know, China has the death penalty for drug dealers, etc. And I said, they're drug dealers. They agreed with me. He agreed with me. Death penalty for drug dealers. Death penalty for people that send fentanyl into our country. And that would have made a big difference. But you know what happened? Nothing, because when Biden came in, nothing happened. And I don't know why he's so soft on China, but boy, is he soft on China. But China's sending almost 100% of it is from China to the Mexican border, and then it's coming in. Mexico is going to be given a very short period of time to police their border. I'm sure they're going to do not well. And then you're going to see the action start. And you know what's going to happen? We're going to have a lot of people living. They're killing 350,000, not 100,000 or 90. I like to say 100. It's a lot of people. That's 2 Yankee stadiums, okay? Mm-hmm. They're killing 300,000 people, maybe more than that, and destroying families. Even if there's no death, they're destroying families.
He's absolutely right.
Yes, he is.
This open borders is absolutely ruining America and families. And what it's doing, it's not just the crime that's coming across the border where the people from these other countries let their prisoners out and said, here you go over there to America. They will take care of you. No, they're bringing in drugs with them. And our Americans are just suffering because of it. And if you really think about it, a lot of college students are suffering because of it. Because, you know, college is full of this kind of drug. You know, so I would be so terrified right now for our students to be going to any Ivy League college, any college away, you know, like that in these big cities where this is where they're focusing on.
Yeah. And notice what he said. President Trump's being fair with this. He's going to let Mexico, he's going to tell them, you got to police your border. You got to police your border.
It's about time.
He says, I'm going to give them that opportunity. He goes, I know they're not going to do well at it, because there's so much money involved and the cartel controls the government so much that they do. But even at that, he said, I'm going to give you a chance. You're not going to do good at it. Past that point, actions are going to be taken, man.
Yes, because we have to patrol our border.
This is what we need. We need, when we see a problem, we need to see a solution to fix that problem. And that's what President Trump brings to the table. Each and every time, man, he brings this to the table. The leaders that we have right now don't do that.
No, because we just told you our representatives is going home for the summer, but they're going to sit in front of an address from the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, you know, who the supposed, you know,
leaders
borders are and leaders of our country aren't even going to be there today.
Yeah, Kamala's skipping out.
She's skipping out. But the Prime Minister, you know, sent President Trump a letter saying he is going to meet with him at Mar-a-Lago on Friday morning. President Trump released the following statement. He said, I'm looking forward to welcoming Bibi Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. During my first term, we had peace and stability in the region, even signing the historic Abraham Accords, and we will have it again. Just as I have said in discussions with President Zelensky and other world leaders in recent weeks, my peace through strength agenda will demonstrate to the world that these horrible, deadly wars and violent conflicts must end. Millions are dying, and Kamala Harris is in no way capable of stopping it. So President Trump knows, and everyone at this time also knows, that Kamala Harris, Every time there was a foreign event, every time, she's already said, she hasn't even been to Europe. You heard about her on that.
Yeah, the Lester Holt video.
On the Lester Holt video, you heard her say that. No, I haven't been to the border, but I haven't been to Europe either. So she doesn't like anything foreign. She knows nothing about it. She doesn't have the experience in it. And then they're always saying President Trump doesn't have experience, but he absolutely does, as you can tell. And the leaders, they really rallied behind him. The leaders of these other countries, even President Xi, sent a letter to President Trump saying, oh my gosh, I'm sorry that you almost got killed.
Right.
Kind of strange that President Trump seems like more of a world leader than any of the Democrat Party.
Hey, are you looking for your next unforgettable experience? Discover and attend the hottest events in your area with Eventbrite. From concerts to conferences, festivals to fundraisers, Eventbrite has it all. With our easy-to-use platform, finding and purchasing tickets is a breeze. Plus, with personalized recommendations based on your interest, you'll never miss out on an event that's perfect for you. Whether you're a seasoned event goer or just looking for something new, Eventbrite connects you with experiences that create memories to last a lifetime. Download the app or visit their website today and start exploring your world with Eventbrite.
Please click that link below. And did you also hear the Secret Service is encouraging the Trump campaign to stop outdoor rallies? Oh my gosh. And Sean Davis on X, he made a very good point. He said this is a direct threat from the regime to Trump. If he doesn't stop trying to win, they'll make sure the next attacker doesn't miss. We all know what they're doing.
We do.
We do. And President Trump, of course, they're calling it an end of an era. Trump to stop holding outdoor rallies after government officials allow would-be assassin to fire off several shots at GOP nominee before taking him out.
Yeah. This is a great article by Jim Hoft, and this is some of what he had to say about this, that President Trump will reportedly stop holding outdoor mega rallies after government officials weirdly allowed a young would-be assassin to fire off several rounds at him and nearly killed him in Butler. Government snipers watched nearby as crooks carried a long rifle up a ladder onto a roof 100 yards from where Trump was going to speak. The government snipers then did not warn officials to keep Trump off the stage while this was happening. And Hoff goes on to say that the U.S. snipers were only 40 feet from the killer when he started shooting at President Trump, hitting him in the ear. This goes back to the Eli Crane video. This goes back to what we just talked about at the very start. We've still got a lot of questions, and we ain't been getting answers. But it's obvious, man. This is the only conclusion that you can come to.
Yeah, and plus President Trump can no longer trust the government officials to keep him safe from any would-be assassin, and the people. I could see him protecting the people more than himself. And you know how the Democrats are always coming out saying he's selfish and he only thinks of himself. Now, this has nothing to do with whether or not the government can protect Trump, but can they protect the American people standing out there in the middle of a field? Someone got killed, a couple of people got shot, and I think that is very heavy on his heart right now. So we're going to keep an eye on this. I have not found anything from the Trump team yet on the actual statement, but I'm pretty sure it will come out today, and I can see him making this decision. Right. I really can. I mean,
it's disappointing, though.
It is disappointing. It is very disappointing.
But if you're paying attention to the mainstream media, they're trying to downplay the border czar title and say that Kamala Harris was never the border czar, that she was never put in charge of this. We all know that to not be true. And the reason that we do is because, once again, do your research. If we go back to September 21st of 2022, Kamala Harris does an interview with Vice, and this is what she had to say concerning why Americans were so frustrated with the border. Right here, she claims authority in this situation.
What is that solution? Can you understand the frustration, though, that Americans have about the situation at the border?
It's not a monolith. There are a variety of components to this. One is the fact that under the previous administration, they decimated a system that was designed to address immigration. And so we have been spending, in the last 18 months we've been in office, spending an incredible amount of time and work and resources to reconstruct that system. I'm in charge, for example, of coordinating what we call a root causes strategy. What are the causes of people leaving? We have now raised $3.2 billion to help the folks in those countries stay.
Do you see what she said? I'm in charge. If she's in charge of just the root cause, she's in charge of everything, man.
Yes, she is. And the reason why we keep bringing this up is because this morning the media is trying to help the Kamala Harris's campaign distance themselves from the border disaster by pretending like Joe Biden didn't appoint her as border czar. This is from Brianna Morella. I want to thank her for this. This was great research. And she has 4 headlines that are telling us that she was not the border czar. For example, Axios, this is the headline now. The Trump campaign and Republicans have tagged Harris repeatedly with the border czar title, which she never actually had.
Yep. Time magazine says Kamala Harris was never Biden's border czar. Here's what she really did. Mother Jones, the myth of Kamala Harris as border czar. And the Daily News, the Veep and the border. Kamala Harris's role was never border czar. Yes, it was. Yes,
all
it was.
False. All they are trying to do right now is tell you, that she was not the border czar, but she was hidden. They hid her. We've already discussed it many times, even before we got to the border czar segment, how many times that she admitted she was the border czar. So they are coming out full force. The media is behind Kamala Harris. But I will tell you this, there are a few people that are not. And one of them that really struck me was BLM.
Awesome. This is awesome.
BLM is not behind them 100%.
One of the articles that we found was from Newsweek, and this is what it says. It says Black Lives Matter has criticized the Democrat Party for anointing Vice President Kamala Harris as the expected Democrat presidential nominee without a public vote. What have I been saying, man? For weeks now, what have I been saying? For days, man. They go on to say President Joe Biden announced on Sunday that he was leaving the presidential race and endorsed Harris to replace him at the top of the Democrat ticket to face Donald Trump in November. Biden had faced pressure to step aside after a disastrous debate performance last month, yada, yada. And by Monday evening, Harris had secured the support of enough Democrat delegates to become the party's nominee, they said. Odd. Since she polled worse than any
and
other
it's still
person.
Polling worse.
Exactly.
She is way worse than even Dropout Joe.
So after that happens, after that situation there happens, and they just all of a sudden anoint her, BLM comes back with their own response. And it says here, responding to the development, BLM criticized Democrats for not giving voters a say and called on the DNC to host a virtual snap primary ahead of the party's convention in August. Newsweek contacted Black Lives Matter, the Harris campaign, and the DNC for comment via email. And it says Democrat Party elites and billionaire donors are attempting to manipulate black voters by anointing Harris and an unknown vice president as the new Democrat ticket without a primary vote by the public. Black Lives Matter said, this blatant disregard for democratic principles is unacceptable. While the potential outcome of a Harris presidency may be historic, the process to achieve it must align with true democratic values. The organization said, we do not live in a dictatorship. Delegates are not oligarchs. Any attempt to evade or override the will of the voters in our primary system, no matter how historic the candidate, must be condemned. We demand an informal virtual snap primary now that the incumbent president is no longer in the running.
Good for you, BLM.
Turns out that BLM is actually constitutionalist.
Yeah. Wow. And they're all in on a democratic process. Wow. Democratic principles.
Voting. People's having a vote. 14 million people voted for Biden, and now you're not getting to have him as your candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting here reading over BLM's statement, I'm thinking, is this too good to be true? And is it? Is it really too good to be true that BLM would come out and, be against this? Could it be a plant? I don't know about this.
I don't know either, but I felt like this was something to bring because for the sake of honesty, what they said was honest.
Yes, it was very honest.
You can't deny
We've
what
been
they
saying
said.
this to the Democratic voters
Exactly.
ever since this happened.
Exactly.
And we really hope you listen to, someone that you've looked up to, BLM. It's taken away people's vote, and these people here, their communities are being devastated by this border that is open, and BLM is aware of that. And the fact that she comes out and she calls herself a non-border czar. I was never the border czar when they know different. So I can see where we're at with that.
Yep.
But how did we get here? How did we actually get here to where Kamala Harris was all of a sudden anointed as a queen for some reason? Well, that would have to do with the Democrat elites. And from the New York Post, they say Democrat elites are accused of steamrolling democracy to oust Biden and anoint Kamala Harris. They invalidated the votes of 14 million people. That was mine, but they did. They invalidated votes. I mean, we had elites like Julia Roberts and George Clooney and Obama. They were out there at this glitzy fundraiser on June 15th. That was like, a few days before the debate on June 27th. And they didn't tell everybody how Biden's decline was happening. So it would seem that they all went behind the scenes and says, okay, we got to get rid of Biden. After raising money for him and then the debate and all that. So,
folks, the point that we brought up about BLM and their displeasure with this, the points that we've been bringing up through the entire process, every bit about it, we've been talking to you Democrat voters, you people that are out there. Are you as mad as BLM, or are you just one of the elites that want to anoint a socialist, open border activist to be the leader of the free world? You should be mad as hell.
Is this thing working?
Rise up. Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. We couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
And we'll see you next time.
We're out.